Have you ever wondered who saves the lifesavers? In the chaos of combat, when even the most elite soldiers are hit, there's one person they all look to: the combat medic. But what happens when a Navy SEAL, one of the toughest warriors on the planet, tries to step into a medic's boots? Let me tell you, it's a lesson in humility they never forget. A group of Navy SEALs, confident and at the peak of their physical and mental conditioning, decided to take on advanced combat medical training. They thought, how hard can it be? They'd mastered weapons, tactics, and surviving in the harshest environments imaginable. A little bit of medicine should be a walk in the park, right? Wrong. The training began, and right away, the atmosphere changed. This wasn't about blowing things up or outmaneuvering an enemy. This was about life and death in a completely different context. The first major hurdle was the sheer volume of information. They were bombarded with anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, and complex trauma care protocols. One SEAL later said it felt like trying to drink from a fire hose that was spraying a mix of Latin and pure stress. These guys, who could memorize intricate mission plans, were struggling to remember the difference between a tension pneumothorax and a hemothorax under pressure. Then came the simulations. The instructors, often seasoned combat medics themselves, created scenarios that were terrifyingly realistic. They used advanced mannequins that could bleed, breathe, and even scream. They hired amputee actors to add a layer of psychological stress that no textbook could ever prepare them for. Picture this: you're in a dark, smoke-filled room with strobing lights and the deafening sounds of gunfire and explosions. Your buddy, or a mannequin that looks just like him, is on the floor, a leg missing, bleeding out. You have to control the massive hemorrhage, manage his airway, check for other injuries, and do it all while your instructor is screaming in your ear about incoming fire. This is where the SEALs started to truly understand. Their usual mind-set aggressiveness, decisiveness, violence of action didn't always translate. A medic has to be calm in the storm. They have to think methodically while their adrenaline is screaming at them to just do something. One SEAL described trying to insert an IV line while his hands were shaking uncontrollably from the simulated stress. He said he could breach a door under fire without a second thought. But the delicate, precise task of finding a vein felt 1,000 times harder. The real eye-opener was the mental and emotional toll. A medic doesn't just treat a wound, they treat a person. They have to reassure a terrified soldier, make life or death decisions in seconds with incomplete information, and then live with the consequences of those decisions. The SEALs were used to the burden of command, but this was different. This was the burden of care. They have to compartmentalize the horror they witness, patch up their friends, and then go right back into the fight, ready to do it all over again. By the end of the training, the SEALs had a profound, newfound respect for combat medics.